Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 80s Parenting Podcast. I am here with my friend Heather. Hello, Heather.
Hello. Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. So today we are going to talk about what our parents did not teach us. A hot topic.
Indeed.
Indeed, a hot topic. So, where should we start? Shall we? Shall we start with today and work our way back?
I'm interested though to find out if is this a generational thing? Was this an 80s thing, or are
Hmm.
they still not doing these things?
Well, I think it depends where you live
Okay.
because now a lot of people are anti-school, so they're homeschooling. So they're
Hmm.
getting whatever their parents are teaching them, which is fine.
Hmm.
Good for you. I could not do that. I tried homeschooling and that wasn't it. It was not for me.
No,
No.
it would have never been for me because
Yeah.
I work.
You work. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. So we'll see. Well, Chad did say that he took a class in high school that was like kind of like a life skills class.
Okay.
But
That's what we needed. Life skills. Like you
yeah,
taught
we
me a bunch of crap I don't use.
when are you going to use that geometry? Probably never.
I never made it that far.
Well, it's like now I'm learning stuff in history that I never knew existed
Right.
that are like kind of big deals. Like
Yeah.
the generic stuff, but and it's hard though for teachers because in the 80s it would have been a little bit easier because you could teach whatever you wanted.
Right.
But now you have to watch what you say, watch what you do, somebody will record it. Then it was just like we were just like waiting for the bell to ring.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
clock was
exactly.
just ticking down. There are a couple of standout teachers to me that used to say things that were relevant,
Hmm.
like kind of like life skills things that were relevant. One ended up being a pedophile.
Okay.
Not fun.
I know
So
who you're talking
yeah,
about.
so that was yeah. It just made me think of it. You know the story.
Yes, I do.
Ew, creepy. That's another episode. Oh God, that's weird.
No.
No, no, we won't.
Pass. Pass on the
No,
pedophiles.
I know. But that was like that teacher, on a side note, that teacher was like a really cool teacher. Did you have him?
In high school or junior high?
Junior high school.
Oh gosh, I don't think that I did.
No.
I
Okay.
don't think so.
So for our listeners, real quick, little story time. So when we were in junior high school, I I don't think Heather had him, but there was two science teachers, and I had one of the science teachers. I'm not gonna say the name because it's who cares. And this is like our true crime hometown story. So we had this teacher, and he was really cool. He was like, which is a red flag. So he was like down to earth, like I don't know, one with students, that kind
Yeah.
of thing, like real goofy science teacher. And I remember just sitting in the class and just laughing all the time about science stuff. So in Arizona, you did elementary school, which was K through 6,
Mhm.
right? And then 7, 8, 9 was junior high school. And then 9, 10, 11,
Yeah.
no, 10,
10,
11,
11,
12
12.
was high school. So where I live now, it's freshman through senior.
That's how it is in Arizona now.
Oh, it is now?
Well, in most of Arizona now.
Oh, so it's junior high then.
Just 7 and 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. And then I think about it now, and we were so tiny in
I know.
the ninth grade, but and then we were with all those seniors. So, or not with, we weren't with the seniors.
Right.
So that would have been weird being with the seniors, being like a little baby.
I know.
So anyway, I was in the eighth grade, I believe, when this happened. So we were going about our days. And I recall one time this guy in Arizona, it was raining. There was like monsoons, I think it was, and it flooded. It flooded in our school. In Arizona, the schools aren't like inside, they're all outside.
Mhm.
So you have to go from class to class outside. And so junior high school, you switched classes. And I forget how many classes we had. I would say five,
6. Mhm.
six classes. So I had this science teacher for one of these said classes. And one day it was raining and he brings a canoe and he starts paddling around the school in his
I
canoe,
remember that.
right? Isn't that funny? And so we thought he was so funny and cool. Fast forward, apparently the girl who was in the class, there was a girl that was in the class above us. So how old are you when you are in the eighth grade?
Like 13-ish.
13. So she had to have been 14,
Yeah.
right? 14.
Mhm.
If she was pushing 15, maybe. Still
Yeah.
under 18. So this teacher,
Oh, actually, in 8th grade, you probably are 14.
you're
Because then
14.
in ninth grade, you'd be 15, 10th grade, you'd be 16. Yeah,
Okay.
14. Sorry.
Whatever the case, you're a juvenile.
Yeah.
You are you are not an adult.
Yeah.
Even at 18, it's questionable if you're an adult. So this science teacher had a relationship with a student.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how long it went on. Nobody knew, right? Nobody knew until one day the science teacher didn't show up for his job and the student wasn't at home. So
Oops.
I don't know if it was, I'm sure it was the parents who were like, where's my missing kid?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So anyway, he basically kidnapped her and they even went over state lines. I think they ended up finding them a couple weeks later in either Utah or Colorado, and we were
Yeah.
in Arizona. So um then you know, they got her back, thankfully, and he went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked that up not too long ago out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And yeah, he thriving, married again with children. And oh,
Wow.
he was married and had a couple of kids too. So I believe he was probably young. He's probably in his 20s, I'm guessing.
For 30s.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? So now he wrote a book apparently. So,
Really?
yeah.
While in prison or?
No, he didn't even serve that much time. It was the 80s.
This is true.
It was the 80s. Like you kidnap a kid, they're like, the kid's fine. You can
So
go.
that brings us to our topic of today, not kidnapping. But
No.
so Stranger Danger was huge in the
Yes.
80s,
Yes.
as was Satanic Panic, but that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Um, but Stranger Danger was huge. I don't remember being taught about like family members doing
No.
things to you.
No.
Like I don't remember hearing anything about
Like
or
creepy
learning
uncles.
anything about your family shouldn't touch you or shouldn't like you shouldn't do things with family members.
I think it was more about kidnapping. I think
Yeah,
it was more about abduction. Like I don't think it was about people doing, family members doing wrong to their younger
yeah.
siblings and or, whatever, you know.
And even this stranger danger was like, oh yeah, stranger danger, and that's it. Boom, done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't take candy and don't get in cars.
Don't take candy, don't get in cars and scream.
Yeah,
It
which
was
screaming ain't gonna help you.
I know. But there was no self-defense tools taught. No. So, and that's another thing. That Stranger Danger was a big thing, and also the Mothers Against Drunk Driving that came out. I remember the day that we did a campaign at the junior high school, and it was fairly new. I'd have
Mhm.
to look up when it started, but it was fairly new because I hadn't heard of the term before.
Yeah. Well, and then you had Dare too. Dare started in the 80s.
Yeah, wasn't that because of Reagan?
Yeah, Nancy.
Because we were with one of the 1,000 points of light, but that was in the 90s. Or it could have been 89 in high school. So
Yeah,
they all came out. Remember that? They all came out.
I probably
El
wasn't there that
Presidente.
day.
El Presidente and Nancy herself
President
came.
came to our school.
Yeah,
I for sure wasn't there that day.
because we were one of the 1,000 points of light. It was
Thousand-
either him or his wife, whatever it was. I remember there was a big motorcade that
No
came to our
kidding.
school. Yeah, you don't remember that?
I'm legit gonna tell you I probably wasn't there at that point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was like a big thing. So that was it was either 89, 90, or 91. I know it was 89, right? That was
Wait,
when Reagan was president,
sure.
wasn't it? No. Look
Oh,
that up.
now I gotta look. Uh,
Unless you know what? It might have been that same program was like they started it and it might have been somebody else, but I do remember there being a motorcade. So I
But
don't
he
know.
was president. It had to have been 1989 because he was president from 1981 to 1989.
There you go. Oh wait, it was George Bush. 1,000 Points of Light was popularized by U.S. President George W.H. Bush and later formed a name of a private nonprofit organization launched by the Bush support. I thought it was I thought it was Reagan, but I guess not. I guess it was the Bushes. Huh,
So that was not an 80s thing. Totally off topic.
totally off topic. So yeah, that was 1990. So close enough.
So we had in school, we had like home ec. Did your mom ever teach you how to like cook or anything like that at home?
She did, and we used to make things like manicotti. That was my favorite for my birthday. um, Simple things we would cook. I mean, I would watch her. She wouldn't. It's a whole other story that I'll get into in a minute. The We would make cookies and stuff like that, but not like it wasn't like, here, Malinda, sit down, let me show you how to make this recipe.
Yeah, no. I learned how to use the microwave.
My mom took microwave classes with my grandmother.
Microwave classes.
Yes, we had one of the very first microwaves, the Roper. And
Oh,
here's how intelligent I was, right? Wait for it. You know the story. We got said microwave and there was no, safety measures put
you
down.
know, they probably
So
spewed radiation all over.
don't stand in front of it. We'd stand in front of it. Ooh, look at that.
Still to this day, I will not stand in front of a
I
microwave.
know, same, same. I try not to use that often. So my mom cooked like one thing in there and then that was it. And then it was just used to heat tea and stuff.
Really?
Like, because she was like, this is gross. Like when she cooked whatever she cooked in the microwave. So then it was just mainly for heating up things because there wasn't anything microwavable yet.
Remember they had, and they still have some stuff, but they came out like when the microwave came out, it was supposed to be like revolutionary. And yes, kids, we were alive before microwaves existed. Um, they had all those microwave like dishes that you could like bacon
Uh-huh.
cookers. My grandma had a bacon cooker and would cook bacon in the microwave all the
Yeah.
time. It tasted like rubber. It was so disgusting. It was the gross.
So my mom, I don't know what she cooked, but she only cooked one thing and then it kind of just sat there. And she went back to the oven. I think it's like today's kids are born and there's already cell phones, but it's already like so many generations later of cell phones
Yeah,
that they don't know when it first started
right.
and how long it took people to get used to using that technology. I can guess that was the same for microwaves.
Probably.
So I decided I was going to cook a piece of gum in the
Oh,
microwave just to see how it went.
how'd that go?
One, it sparked because it was a piece of juicy fruit gum, and the wrapper is
Metal.
metal, like tin foil. And then I proceeded to touch it. So I don't know how long I left it in. What happened?
I don't know, but you froze. There you are.
Okay, there I am. Okay. Oh, that was a bummer. Where was I? Microwave.
You left it in there long.
Oh, that's right. I left it in there long enough for it to bubble. So,
Ooh,
and looking back, I can still picture it. Looking back, it still kept its form, which is
really?
which is a sign that I shouldn't put it in my body.
Probably
So
not.
I touched it with my pointer finger, and I had a gigantic blister on my
Ooh,
finger from touching, a million degree chewing gum
microwave.
that I just stuck in the microwave. So yeah, that's how smart I was in the 80s.
Clearly, our parents taught us nothing about personal safety.
Personal safety and cooking. So there's my cooking story for you. I tried to microwave gum.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I didn't do that. I do remember. So my mom taught me how to bake.
Yes.
I don't feel like she taught me how to cook much because
Yeah.
I don't feel like she cooked much because she was always working.
Mm.
But she did teach me how to bake. And I remember when I was little, we used to have a whole day where we made Christmas cookies and divinity and all kinds of. I'm bringing up Christmas cookies because it's almost Christmas. But she did teach me how to bake and like decorate cakes and stuff like that because that's what she did like part time when I was really, really little.
That's
Um,
fun. I'm sure
yeah,
they were filled with carob.
probably. Well,
Ugh.
we couldn't just buy a cake at the store because that was too, easy. You had to make it yourself.
Yeah, and that's when you wanted the store-bought cake.
I know. And that's what she did. She worked for a grocery store and she decorated cakes for the store. I'm like, can I just have the store-bought cake? Nope.
No, you
Have
cannot.
sweetened
I
with honey and carob and
I'm gonna slave over this stove
elderflower and
and not buy the cake. I think my mom used to make our birthday cakes. I don't remember.
yeah.
I don't remember at all. But so my mom didn't teach me how to cook. And the one thing well, is there something that your parents did not teach you that you wish they would have now?
Yes, budgeting.
Budgeting. Okay.
100%. I am terrible with finances. Like absolutely terrible with finances. And it's 100% because my mom did not teach me how to budget, which is weird. It's wild because she was a co-owner of a business and it was a good business for a long time. It was very successful. But I just never got to see that aspect of it when I worked there. And I don't know. It just they never taught me how to track expenses. They never taught me how to budget my money properly, how to invest, the importance of retirement, probably because neither of them understood the
Yeah.
importance of retirement because neither one of them have any retirement savings. So it's it's kind of like just trial and error around here. There's a lot of error happening.
Those mortgage interest rates or credit card interest rates,
Yeah,
student
none of
loan payments, all those things that I mean, I believe there should be a life skills class in school to talk about interest rates and how it's terrible. Even your first year in college, it should be required, one of those classes.
Yeah. I mean, they teach you in like begin like pre-algebra or like seventh grade math, maybe. They teach you how to calculate interest rates, but
Mhm.
they don't teach you like what does that mean? Like how does compounding work? And maybe
Yeah.
there are classes where they do teach you that stuff, but they were never classes that I took.
They weren't offered. The things that life skills classes that were offered to us were sewing, like home ec,
Which was
where
sewing
you
and cooking.
sewing and cooking, where it was mainly females in the
Well, and
class.
the cooking, you cooked pretzels, soft pretzels. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even know how to make a soft pretzel.
Heather,
Never, ever making, I've never made a soft pretzel since, ever. Unless I got a frozen one from Costco and popped it in the oven.
there you go.
Otherwise,
I can one up you on that one. We made applesauce.
yeah, like who's doing the stuff that they teach? Like, what else did we make? We were in the same home ec class, weren't we? Or
I
did we
think so.
have, I don't know.
Well, yeah,
And the sewing, they taught you how to make those ridiculous pillows. I made
I
a
made a
pig. It was terrible.
I made a surfboard. I made a surfboard.
Your surfboard was cute. My pig was terrible. And I had knots everywhere in the sewing machine. Like to this day, no sewing for me.
So do you remember? So one in the cooking portion of this class, we made applesauce, and we were in groups of 4 or 5, and
Mhm.
one of the kids in my group got in trouble, so like we didn't get to make one of the items. The
Oh,
teacher made us sit out, and I don't remember what it was, but she made us sit out for one of the items. And the only other thing that I remember making is during the holiday season, we made Reese's peanut butter cups. But
really?
yeah, but here's the thing. You, the problem was there was only an hour to make something.
Right.
So to teach it and then make it. And remember, she would teach it all week long, and then we would make it on the last day,
The
like
last day on
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so I remember we got on the holiday, I don't remember what you cooked, but we had the peanut butter cups, and then we all like, it was like kind of like the Bake Off show. We kind of put them for display and everybody tasted them. So we had to make however many kids were in the class. I don't remember how many
Was
kids,
that
but
a one semester class or the full year? Was it
it
the
was,
first semester sewing and the second semester cooking?
yes. And also in the first semester, they taught you about, after the sewing portion, there was, and I remember I was so, they taught you about abusing children, like parents
Oh, they
abusing
showed you
children.
that horrible video
That
of,
horrible, let's not talk about it. I don't want to relive it.
oh, yeah.
And it was this horrible video, and it's just like it's still with me today, and I don't want to talk
Hmm.
about it. So, and then they also had a makeup artist come in, and they asked for a volunteer to show us how to put on makeup. Like, what?
That is an essential life skill.
Sure.
Let's not teach the kids how to, survive in the real world. Let's teach them
Yeah.
how to apply their makeup
Let's not
appropriately.
teach our women, let's not teach our girls in this class how to be independent women
Yeah.
and speak up for ourselves
It's
and make sure that nobody takes advantage of us, and that it's okay for women to do whatever they want, and the salary should be the same or more than the male counterpart. Let's not teach that.
That didn't happen in the 80s.
Let's sew some pillows and make some pretzels.
Mhm. Let's make some little domestic goddesses.
Oh, that didn't turn out apparently.
Apparently not.
I do know how to use a microwave.
Indeed, I do.
So one other thing that my mom, and you know what they didn't teach us in that class? Like strategies on cleaning. You think they would have?
No,
Like cleaning, like what to clean what with?
right.
Because you know what? When you had a parent that I didn't have any chores, I didn't clean anything unless I wanted to dust or something, and I did it for fun. I to this day do not know how to clean things. Like
Really?
I know how, it's like I know how to do it, but then I get started and I'm like, well, what do I use? You know what I mean?
I
It's
could
like
give
I
you an
don't
expert tutorial. You teach me how to budget, I'll teach you how to clean
know how to
because
clean.
I
Well, no, thank you.
clean houses too as a side hustle.
I do not want to clean. Well, my problem is that I know how to do it, but when I start doing it, I'm like, how do people do this? Like, how do they, like, say for example, you're like, I know how to clean like a toilet, you know what I mean? I know the proper way how to do it and the utensils, but like in the shower, it's like, how do you not do it and not get soaking wet? That's
That's
the bigger question.
easy.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know. My mom never taught like cleaning, like how to clean stuff. Like, how do you mop a floor and not kill yourself or have to have a chiropractor afterwards?
So my mom cleaned houses for a living when I was probably from the time I was like 9 until I was probably 11 or 12.
Okay.
I was at least 12. And for funsies, she used to take me with her and help for fun.
Oh,
Because
for fun.
did I get paid? Nope.
Nope. You
Got to have
probably
some
did. You
fun
probably got
time.
a carob chip at the end of the day.
Yeah, I got to go to the freaking health food store and get a carob and organic peanut butter cup. Yeah.
Or regular peanut butter now, which is delicious. but then you were like, oh, I just want the GIF in the can.
Yeah. So for funsies, I got to learn how to clean people's houses.
And that's another thing. So in home ec as well, they should have taught us how to load a dishwasher.
Oh, and how to like get a freaking job. Like how to interview for a job and apply for a job.
Yeah, that would have been a good skill.
We should still do that because I have interviewed some people of a certain age, and I'm like, I don't know how you made it as far as you did.
So the funny part is I asked Chad about this. So I asked Chad, I said, hey, they never had life skills classes. And he had in California, it's one of the required classes is a life skills class.
Really? Did they
Yeah.
teach you how to interview for a job?
I'll have to ask him. I didn't ask him that question. We were just talking about like budgeting and things like that, and they taught that kind of thing, but
Yeah.
they didn't teach him. Maybe, maybe, maybe that's why his weird brother has had so many jobs. Maybe they did teach interviewing strategies.
I mean, I learned them just from having so many jobs because I've had a ton of jobs in my life.
Yeah.
I just was astute with remembering a lot of the questions. And
Mm,
then when I first started my nursing career, I used to get to sit in on panel interviews all the time. So I was like, oh, okay, now I know what they're looking for. But that was when I was in my like late 20s, early 30s before I would say I solidly knew how to like apply an interview.
right. Now there's different strategy, and now it's easier because you can look up things on YouTube and stuff
Right.
like that. So, and the hardest part is though, you know, you can only go so far on YouTube.
Hmm.
You actually have to engage with the interviewer now and
Right.
ask questions and not just like when are the holidays paid
Yeah, exactly.
or like are you sure that's the salary you want to give me? I was thinking a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, those
That's
kind of questions. And I'm sure you've heard it all.
I have.
Heard it all before. So yeah, interviewing skills, we weren't taught that. Although I don't I don't know if my mom see the problem with my life is my mom died when I was 19. So who knows? She might have taught me some of these things later, but I doubt it because I
You,
don't think she knew any of it herself.
you know what another big one that your mom didn't teach you?
Hmm.
How to drive.
She did not.
You did not. I tried, and it was horrifying.
It was. Well, I think I was traumatized. Heather and I got into a terrible car accident in the 80s. And so I think I was a little bit afraid. And honestly, I was a pretty young 16 through 20 something year old.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I was not mature enough
Hmm.
to know the rules of the road and things like that.
Yeah.
I was afraid, and then I moved to California, and then I had to get my license.
Yeah.
So I got my license when I was 20 years old.
Yep. I know because I drove you around for years and years.
Everybody loved driving me around.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's what Chad's like. I'm gonna have to go to work, so you're gonna have to get yourself a job. And then I remember I learned on his Honda CRX, like
Oh, great car.
stick shift,
Had
stick
one.
shift,
I
stick
had
shift.
one.
Yeah, in California. And he would go up this hill and just like pull the emergency brake, and he's like, "There you go." And I'm like, "Oh my, no."
Yeah. It's interesting to think about
Yeah,
like what they didn't teach us. Okay, so now I'm trying to think, what have I taught my son? Have I taught him how to budget? Not really. So
no,
I'm failing again. I did teach him the importance of saving for retirement because he already has 401k and he's 23.
there you go. That was a
Um,
big thing. Is a big thing in our generation was having a 401k and having health insurance.
yeah,
That was that you go to college, you get a job, you have a 401k and you have health insurance.
you pay a house.
It's all the health insurance and 401k was like the biggest takeaways. Not like competitive salary
So
or a job that you actually like. No,
there's a big one.
there's a job that you like. So I do have to say that one, speaking of, we talked about household chores and dishwasher literacy. Still can't handle that situation because we didn't have a dishwasher.
This is
So
true.
that's probably why I didn't. But I never had to do the dishes at home.
Yeah, I
I'm
did.
finding more and more that we talk about these topics that I was pretty spoiled.
And I was thrown to the wolves.
Yeah. My mom, she didn't, I don't know why she didn't ask us to help with anything. No idea. No, I don't know. Maybe she felt bad that we didn't have a dad. I have
Maybe.
no idea why she didn't teach us anything. And she was always so happy, and I never saw her like sad. I saw her mad a couple times in my life. That was it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's one thing that is that I wish that she would have taught me or shown me more is grieving.
Yeah.
She didn't show any sort of negative emotions ever. It's like that it was so my mom was born in 1943, which is if you look up online, it's kind of borderline baby boomer in that silent generation.
Mhm.
So I think she was because her parents would have been the silent one, right? Generation.
Yeah.
Because my grandparents were born in like 1910 and 1912, I think. So it was like you never talked about anything after it
Yeah.
happened. There was my mom never talked about my dad, and she never would. There would be pictures, and we'd have to make our own interpretation out of it. It wasn't until my mom died that I started learning more things about my dad. And it's not that they didn't love each other or anything like that. She was sad because I read her diary that I found. She was
Yeah.
she was very, sad and overwhelmed with two small children
Yeah.
and, moving across the country away from all of her family to move to Arizona. But she never talked about that. Never. There was never she just kept it all inside, I guess. So I never learned any of that. So I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like
I,
I
I
I
I think that might have been a thing with 80s parents. Like they didn't do a good job of teaching like emotional control or like
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
if you acted out at school, you were just grounded
right.
or just, told that, don't you can't do that. There wasn't any talking about like
There
why
was no
shouldn't you have done that or
yeah, why did
what
you
can
do that? What's going on with you?
exactly like can I help you with something?
Yeah.
Do you need something? There's some underlying thing that's happening. So
Yeah.
there was no emotional support. So I just floated through life like that.
Yeah.
So I now when I unfortunately I've had a lot of death in my family, but it's just like I'm like that's really sad. But then it's like everybody dies. Like I don't take it as hard as a lot of people do.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's good or if that's bad. So I don't like my mom died. Do I miss her every day and think about her every day? Of course I do. But I don't sit and like wallow about it. I just move on. So that's one thing
Yeah.
that she my parent never taught me about is like how to grieve. So
Yeah.
so I don't know. And then also it's like they also in the 80s it was whatever your parent said was it. Full stop, period. It was like,
Right.
here's how you vote, here's what you buy. You buy this kind of soap, you buy this kind of laundry detergent, you buy this kind of oatmeal. That's it. Final.
To be fair, there weren't as many options in the 80s.
Oh, there were options.
We'll do a grocery store episode in the future.
Yeah.
There were options, yes, but not like there is now.
No, not, I mean, there wasn't a whole cereal aisle.
No, there was like maybe a quarter of an aisle with cereal.
Yeah. And
And
speaking of grocery shopping, that's another thing. That is my biggest thing is today is grocery shopping. I do not know how to grocery shop.
I mean,
Grocery shopping and cleaning are the two things that I do not know how to do.
I have figured it out, but I was not taught like how to grocery shop with a budget for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you were just like, "Woo, I'm in the grocery store. What do I feel like having today? I fill up my cart and I'm a single person."
Yeah. And then I go home and I don't cook any of it.
Yeah. Well, my mom, God love her, she did not have that much money. And so she would go grocery shopping every single day. Every day she was at the grocery store. And hold on, it gets funny. So she went to the grocery store every day and got whatever it was to cook dinner or something, right? Because she only had a small amount of money. And then you never know. Like, I don't know, maybe she did a deal or two and then went to the grocery store. Question mark. So she would go to the grocery store every day. And I remember going with her, and she was funny. My mom was funny at the grocery store. She would, my mom was funny in general. She was always singing and dancing and making up stories and making up songs and dances. It was highly embarrassing. So she would,
Very entertaining.
very entertaining. So I'll just tell you one little one. We would go down the aisle at the grocery store that had laundry detergent and fabric softeners, and my mom would say, "Uh-oh, Malinda." I go, "Oh my God, what? Uh-oh. Look, there's the bounce fabric sheets," and she would bounce down the aisle.
Yeah, you'd have to bounce down the aisle. I do remember that.
You'd have to bounce down the aisle. Lord help me when Snuggle came out. Oh. And so I, to this day, I do not know how to grocery shop. I can make a list as long as Santa's, and I will buy all the things and come home and be clueless on how to do it. I mean, are there other options today that I use? Yes. One, do I send my husband almost every day to the grocery store? Yes. So
No, I
I
think it's more of a meal planning, which was not taught either.
no,
Uh,
I don't know how to do that. I don't know. I use
meal
the
planning
service.
thing.
So
Yeah.
now that's what I was going to say is now I'm smart enough now to know that there's alternatives for
Yeah.
things. And when I'm a new 50, Heather, but I am so anti going in stores. I love technology and all these delivery services. That's my thing. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it because now I don't have to go to any of those places anymore.
Aren't you lucky?
I I love a meal service, and I love a Instacart type service.
Nice.
So that's what I love. So basically, our parents didn't teach us shit,
Right.
you know.
We'd love to hear your stories of what your parents didn't teach you that you wish they would have.
Yeah, healthy eating habits
Hmm. Missing.
missing. Although when we were younger, we were so thin, we didn't really need
Oh
any
no, I got
guidance.
all the healthy eating habits when I was like up until I was around 12 years old, and then they completely disappeared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's I tell this to Heather all the time that we never had a diet. So that was because we were just so thin, but that doesn't all have to do with healthy eating.
Wow.
So, but I mean, we had fresh fruits and vegetables available to us, but we also had all the crap,
Yeah. For
So
sure.
anyway, thank you all for listening. If you want to tell us your story, let us know. There is someday we'll have a website when I get around to that, maybe after I go to the grocery store. And we have our social medias. There's a Google Doc on there, but our information and our email is on the show notes on this here podcast. So thank you, everybody. And teach your kids things.
Have a great week, kids.